Hey, it's me. I'm back. I was only gone for a week, but still. I had a great break and I missed you. Aww. I'm ready to jump right back into painting on things. I put up a poll in the community tab about a month ago and just gave you guys a couple different options of things that you may or may not want to see me paint on. The results were loud and clear. We're into phone cases over here. So I'm going to be painting on phone cases today. 3 of them. 3 phone cases. Mirror case. This is my current phone case, which I did not make. Pretty basic. I've had this case since I bought the phone, so I know it's been a thing recently to actually paint on bare, naked iPhone. I don't know why that became a thing. I'm not gonna do that. No, you know, I'm good, I'm okay. Phones are expensive, so I'd rather not paint directly on the phone and potentially ruin it. Being attacked by lint. I would never dare to use my phone naked.
You know what I mean?
Because I'm far too clumsy for that. I always have a case on it. If you're gonna put a case on it anyway, then let's just paint on the case. Have I talked about this long enough? Yes, I think so. Phone cases, I love them. You know, when you get tired of it or it gets worn out, you can just pop it off. We all know how phone cases work. I'm not educating anybody. So let me get to unboxing these. Here are my 3 phone cases. Don't know why I chose this random muted periwinkle color, but they have a nice fuzzy interior. One thing I didn't realize when I bought these, they have a silicone coating, which is worrisome. Will paint even stick to that? Let's find out. Here's my paint I'm gonna be using, typical acrylic. I'm gonna run a little compatibility test. Ooh. Look, wait, there's that thumbnail everyone's been using. Let me just spread this paint out. The paint seems to be sticking fine, nothing weird is happening, but we won't know for sure how it acts until the paint dries. But I'm too freaking impatient, so I'm just gonna jump onto painting one of the other cases. That sounds good, yeah, makes sense. Okay, here we go. Why is paint so appetizing? I haven't painted in a week.
A week!
So hopefully I still know how to do this. I was trying to paint a dog, but it doesn't really look like a dog. I guess I'm kind of rusty. Honestly, I had 0 plan for this design. I did know that I wanted to do something abstract, but I hadn't really envisioned the specifics. I was just kind of winging it, letting my paintbrush live and move freely. And let's just see what my subconscious decides. Okay, it's a rainbow. My subconscious is very predictable. I didn't plan to paint a rainbow, but I can't say that I'm surprised. So this became kind of a
painterly,
that word, blended rainbow vibe. It looks a lot like one of my old laptop cases, so that's great. Predictable and unoriginal. Good job, subconscious. Thank you. But this was pretty fun and relaxing to do, you know, just like mindlessly painting. It's like how little kids scribble with crayons, but this is with paint, so that makes it art. I like this because there's no right or wrong. You can't mess up. You can't make a mistake. Oh wait, I ruined it. I feel like it was getting a little too busy, so let's just calm down, take a step back, and I'm gonna go over that and like simplify it a little bit. Yeah, do that. When you're doing abstract, is that the way to say it? I don't know. You can never tell when it's done. It's not like you're working toward creating a specific image. You're just kind of playing with paint. Abstract artists are triggered. Let me be more clear. I'm playing with paint. The painting is never really finished. You know, you just kind of have to pick a point to stop messing with it. I have a tendency to go too far, so I'm gonna stop myself here, even though I have a nagging feeling that it's not finished. Just stop. I'm gonna take care of the sides as well, just like kind of continue the design around. And the compatibility test. So the paint actually seems to stick on there pretty well unless it gets scratched. And once the little edges come up, it just kind of it crumbles and it peels off super easily. So we should probably do some prep work before painting on this surface. Good thing I waited for the test results before painting on the other cases. That's okay. I think adding a thick clear coat should be fine. It should be good enough to protect what I've done. Laying that on thick. I did cover it with multiple coats so that the paint is nice and scratch resistant. So here's the final case.
Let's go.
Alright, I'm gonna move on to one of the other phone cases
after this commercial break.
Pickle the Dinosaur is now available for pre-order. He's our special guy made with love. Feel that? That's love. This collector's item is only available for a limited time.
Okay, so the next phone case. I'm gonna do a little additional prep work this time so that my design doesn't end up like that. So just cleaning up this case. I'm gonna try to sand it. Sanding silicone doesn't work all that well. Also, I suspect this is not the right sandpaper for this. So then I'll throw some gesso on it, which is just like an acrylic primer. This is supposed to help acrylic paint stick to different surfaces better, so sure, we'll go with that. And that seems to have done something, hopefully. Now for my design. Okay, that doesn't work. Let me try something else. I'm gonna trace the phone case, sketch my design, cut that out, and now I'm looking for a very rarely used art supply for me. Here it is, charcoal. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Spread that over the back of my sketch until it's completely coated, then throw that on top of the phone and trace over those lines. I didn't invent this technique, I've seen it done many times, but I don't often use it because I hate charcoal. Oh gosh. But it actually does work pretty well. Yeesh. Painting time. I'm gonna create some very, very light pastel colors. Thank you. And getting to painting. So this design, it's kind of similar in style to what I did on one of the Hydro Flaskies that I decorated, which I did use Posca pens for that. I would have loved to use Poscas on this design as well, and it would have made it so much easier and, you know, a nice smooth finish. It's beautiful, but I really wanted to use a light pastel color scheme, which Poscas are not available in pastels, so I couldn't decide whether to do a fruit theme or an animal theme, so I did both. It might have made more sense to choose one or the other, but life is confusing. Side note, if you do try this, I wouldn't recommend using these like silicone phone cases. Definitely get like the hard plastic ones. I think that you'll have more luck with the paint adhering better. You know, I really need to figure out some good techniques and products to help paint adhere to different surfaces and make it like super durable, because I want these things that I decorate to be practical. You know, I don't want to be afraid to use them, as my Hydro Flaskies still sit on the shelf.
Not hydrating anybody.
So if anybody, you know, has some knowledge in that area, please let me know what I need to do. What, you thought I was supposed to be teaching you how to do things? I'll try to figure this out before I customize something else so that I actually know what I'm doing next time. Here's where we are. I'm adding some of the details now. I didn't want to use black at all because I want to keep the overall look very light, but that caused me to make some weird choices. Some folks are getting red eyes, which is slightly scary, but I didn't figure out a solution for that issue for a while yet, so please enjoy being stared at by a little demon cat. Oh look, a possessed duck. Speaking of that duck, I was going for like a little fuzz on top of his head. I always do that when I draw ducks, but somehow that little fuzz developed into very prominent horns. Speaking of horns, yikes, what's happening over there? There's a duck here, there's a pineapple there. He's an inch away from becoming Georgie. Here's where I find the magical solution that's gonna bring this design together. I'm using a metallic silver paint pen to do all of the outlining so that I can keep the design light. Here's how that looks. Notice demon eyes are no longer. And extending the color around the side as well as the metal outlining, just continuing that. And finally, our thick clear coat. Here's the end result.
Let's go!
Also, just in case you're confused about what any of these animals are, polar bear, demon cat, dog, sloth, fat bunny, frog, not Georgie, deer, baby seal. Okay, in the third and final phone case, I'm just gonna prep it the same way as the last one because that seemed to work okay. Who dat? Gesso it up, and now I'm going to, whoop, not that. Who dat? Get out my notebook, and I'm just throwing together an idea for a design very sloppily. Then, using a cleaned up version of that idea, transfer that onto the phone, and look at that! So I wanted to do 3 very different styles for each of these cases. So I did one that was abstract, one that was cartoony, and this one is not realistic, but it's like between cartoony and realistic. Anyone want a Hershey Kiss? Oh my gosh, paint is food. So I designed this dessert, which is a slice of cake with a macaron on top and a scoop of ice cream on top of that and whipped cream on top of that and a cherry on top of that. This tells me it's either a very small piece of cake or a massive macaron. This is actually a real dessert. It's known as maca cake, or in some countries, ice cacaron. Obviously, I just made this up, okay? I quite like it though. I'll bet that it would taste pretty good. How could it not? Who wants me to make maca cake in real life? Anyone?
No! Don't force us!
The shading in the whites is very blue. I added white to gray paint instead of black paint, and I was hoping for a neutral gray, but it ended up a lot more bluish than I was shooting for. I don't hate it though. It does slightly bother me how the whole thing is leaning a tiny bit. I think it's scared of the camera hole. But that's okay. I went with pretty tame colors for the actual dessert, just browns, whites, and pink. So of course I'm bringing in some sprinkles to give it a little bit more color. The ice cream looks a little bit stiff. It's like very dry looking. I think it's those thick drips, but adding the highlights will help that out a little bit. Okay, here's the final case.
Let's go!
Notice this cherry stem, it's awkwardly short.
Nothing wrong with being short.
I hope you guys are satisfied since so many of you wanted to see phone cases. Is this what you wanted? I had fun. Now here's my question to you. Do you like any of these designs enough that you would actually wear them on your phone, or your phone would wear them? Would you put these on your phone? Because if there's one that a lot of people really like, I could potentially have it printed on an actual phone case and put it in my store. So answer me in the poll in the corner. If we're really not liking any of these designs, then that's fine too. I thought I'd ask. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye!